My God, this is the most bizarre controversy that I have ever covered in my entire YouTube career. And I hope YouTube isn't going to get upset because I'm covering it. I mean, I don't think I'm breaking the TOS. Literally every single publication is talking about it right now. So there's this cartoon called Harley Quinn, and I wanted to watch it, but I reached a scene where a bunch of billionaires on a yacht were talking to each other, and you have this gentleman coming up and saying, "My fellow whites, it is time that we partake in our favorite activity, fucking the poor." And I was like, okay, this show is a little bit too progressive for me, just a little bit. Maybe it's for some other people, but I personally just draw a line at this level of progressivism. And every now and then I get people showing me clips from it. Like there's this clip with Poison Ivy being huge, like a giantess, and she holds Harley Quinn in her hand, and it's like, I could totally eat you right now. A little bit of a Vor reference there. Vore. So it's like a bizarre show. It's not really my cup of tea. Like, I don't watch it, but like, I understand other people do, so that's fine. But the reason I'm mentioning this is that it's a progressive show, and progressive shows are very restricted in the type of humor that they can make and the type of jokes that they can make. And because of that, like, when they want to be edgy, the only way they know how to be edgy is to be vulgar. Like, as vulgar as possible. And usually over the top violence as well. And it seems it has reached a point where DC itself is saying no. And that's kind of bizarre, because usually DC doesn't really step in, but. Or maybe it does and we don't know, but like this time we actually do know. Because they wanted to make a scene where Batman would go down on Catwoman. And DC said that no, because Batman is a superhero and superheroes don't do that. Now, this is a very ridiculous statement. It is obviously bewildering for most people, but it depends whether you want to be charitable or not. If you want to be charitable, you will understand that probably the person that was in charge of this didn't really think this through. Like, he probably didn't even expect that they would want to have this in the show. Like, they were going there. Because it's one thing when you have, like, these cartoons. And you get, like, Batman, pushing Catwoman in the bed, and then it's fade to black. Like, that is something that's understandable. But when you also go into, like, the sex position that is being used and exactly what's happening there, and you go into borderline hentai, you go into redo of the healing hero territory, then yeah, it kind of makes the studios uncomfortable. And the reason it makes the studios uncomfortable is because they want to sell toys, which are usually marketed to children. Now, it's most likely that the parents wouldn't complain, right? Like, the parents wouldn't have anything to say about it because they probably don't even watch this show. But the people that would complain would be the actual companies that are doing the toys. Like, the people doing the toys would probably know about this scene, and they would say, all right, well, we're not going to purchase those toys for a while. And that is why DC is stepping in, right? They're not afraid of the customer, they're afraid of the companies. But I kind of also understand the mentality of it, because like heroes don't do that. I mean, when you look at Batgirl, do you really want to see her sucking cock in a cartoon? Like, I'm pretty sure she might do that, like heroes do that, like heroes suck cock. But like, would you want to see it in a cartoon is the question. Because a lot of people are offended. It's like, oh my god, DC is so prudish. It's like, no, DC isn't prudish, okay? Like, they already had a segment where Batman, which is like, what, a 40-year-old man, had sex with Batgirl. Like, that's canon. That happened in the comics. That's a legitimate thing. But it was something that was done for the sake of the story. Because it was really interesting since Batgirl was friends with Nightwing. And Batman was Nightwing's tutor, mentor. Like, Nightwing was almost like a son to him. And now you have, like, this really bizarre controversy, right? That's going to create a little bit of drama in the Bat family. So, definitely, it was a very bizarre scene. to see these two heroes doing the kushi kushi. But the problem was that it had sorry, the not the problem. The advantage was that it had to do with the story. Batman going down on Catwoman, is it really necessary? Do you really need? Does it add something to the story? No. I guess it's just fan service. Okay. And I don't think that DC Comics wants this type of fan service in the era of feminism, where you need to draw women a certain way to have the realistic body poses, because if you don't, then it's hypersexualizing. Okay, so everyone has a problem. All these activists, they have a problem with hypersexualizing, but at the same time they're upset that DC isn't going to allow Batman to perform the. Well, by the way, like here's an interesting question. Okay, why is it that when you do oral sex for a woman, it's performing? It's like to perform oral, but when a woman does it to a man, it like gives a blow. Did you notice that? Like a man performs, a woman gives. Why? How does that make? Well, this is only in the English language, by the way. What is wrong with you people? But anyway, right? Where is equality? So this is the reason, right? And it's quite hilarious to see the exact same check marks, exact same people on Twitter freaking out about hypersexualization, and now they're freaking out that DC Comics has said that heroes don't do that. Which, by the way, again, I'm pretty sure it's just like one person working at the company, not even expecting that request. It's like, hey, is it okay if Batman does what? You know? Not even expecting that request, saying it off the cuff, just like, yeah, it's ridiculous. I agree. But I'm a little bit more charitable. I kind of understand it. Like, they don't want their intellectual properties to do that. Was this an anime? Probably, different culture, different rules. Goku would probably... well, hold on. I don't even think, like, Goku would do that. Yeah, I mean, if it's marketed for teenagers, usually it's at Fade to Black. Like they go into the bed and it's Fade to Black. If it's marketed towards like adults, then you can have redo of healer things, and then you can have like just full-blown hentai, which is definitely not what this cartoon is, and I don't think DC Comics is happy with that. So that's how I resolve the controversy. But it also is taking like really interesting levels, because Zack Snyder now has edited a picture in order to make it look like Batman is performing the performance. I need to say it in ways that the YouTube algorithm doesn't get upset. And DC Comics decided to strike it down, to give a copyright takedown on Zack Snyder's picture. So there's like a lot of people that are, I guess, making publicity for themselves based on this controversy. And believe it or not, there's like an abundance of memes as well as fan art with Batman doing what heroes aren't supposed to do on Twitter. This is my favorite. Batman begins, but he doesn't let her finish. By the way, if Batman is not doing it because heroes don't do that, does that mean that Joker does it? Like, is this why Harley Quinn wants to be with Joker? How does Joker keep the makeup around his honestly, like every single day the internet just delivers more and more. So yeah, I mean, I thought I would let you guys know about this interesting controversy, about this interesting take, and I guess like it's only good fun, right? Because it brought a little bit more attention on the Harley cartoon. They're considered to be the victors here. I personally gotta say, I like fan service, but like it depends on the type of cartoon and the genre, I guess. Like, yeah, I probably wouldn't like to see Batman doing that, just like I wouldn't want to see Batgirl sucking cock, or the position that they're doing it in, or anything like that. Just keep it Fade to Black. I mean, these are characters from my childhood. I don't want them to be perverted in this way, yeah? But, well, I guess, like, this is the first time, literally, like, the first time when I'm saying, all right, a little bit too much fan service, just tone it down a little bit. What do you guys think, though? I'm really curious, because I think this might be a little bit controversial from me. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and I'll definitely see you guys there.